Welcome to another episode of the Macro Lens. Imagine your school has two boys. They hate each other. Every few weeks, they get into a fight. Everyone knows it. Teachers know it. Students know it. Another fight is always around the corner. Then one day, something changes. Both boys are given a button so powerful that if either presses it, the entire school disappears. Not just the other boy, everyone, including the person who pressed it. Now think carefully. Do the boys become more dangerous or less dangerous? Because the moment either presses the button, everyone loses, including themselves. Strangely, that might be the reason they stop fighting. And believe it or not, something very similar happened to the world. For most of history, war was normal. Countries fought each other constantly. Empires rose, empires fell, borders changed, kings invaded neighbors, neighbors invaded back. If you were alive in Europe a few hundred years ago, there was a good chance your generation would see a major war. Then came the 20th century, and the two deadliest wars humanity had ever experienced. World War I, then World War II. Together, they killed tens of millions of people. Entire cities vanished, entire countries were shattered. And by 1945, many people believed a third world war was only a matter of time. But then, something appeared that had never existed before: the nuclear bomb. The first nuclear bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In a matter of seconds, entire sections of cities were destroyed. The world suddenly realized something terrifying. These weren't just bigger bombs, this was something completely different. For thousands of years, we built weapons to help us win wars. Now humanity had created a weapon that could destroy entire civilizations. And as nuclear technology improved, the bombs became even more powerful. Soon, countries possessed enough nuclear weapons to destroy each other many times over, which created a strange new problem. How do you fight a war when winning might kill you too? After World War II, two countries emerged as rivals: the United States and the Soviet Union. They disagreed on almost everything. They competed for power. They competed for influence. They competed for control of the future. For decades, many people expected them to go to war. After all, great powers had always fought each other. That was history. That was normal. But something unusual happened. They never did. They argued, threatened each other, spied on each other, built enormous armies, built thousands of nuclear weapons, yet they never fought a direct war. Why? Because both sides understood one simple fact. If America launched nuclear weapons, the Soviet Union would launch theirs. If the Soviet Union launched first, America would respond. There would be no winner, only destruction. It was the same logic as the two boys with the button. The stronger the weapon became, the less anyone wanted to use it. Decades later, mathematicians began studying situations exactly like this. Two rivals, two choices, and no way to know what the other side will do. The question was simple. How do you make decisions when the other person's decision could change everything? Their conclusion was surprising. When the cost of making the wrong move becomes catastrophic, even bitter enemies become cautious. Not because they trust each other, because they don't. And that uncertainty changes everything. In fact, an entire field of mathematics emerged to study problems like this: game theory, the science of strategic decisions. And nuclear weapons created perhaps the most important game humanity has ever played. A game where nobody wanted to make the first move, because the penalty for being wrong could be the end of civilization. Then came October 1962, the moment the world nearly found out what happens when that logic fails. The Soviet Union secretly placed nuclear missiles in Cuba. Just 90 miles from the United States, America discovered them. The world held its breath. For 13 days, many people believed nuclear war could begin at any moment. And if it did, millions might die, maybe more. But something remarkable happened. Neither side fired. Both stepped back. Not because they trusted each other, not because they liked each other, but because they were terrified of what would happen next. Fear may have prevented war. And yet, there is another side to this story, a much less comforting side. Because sometimes, the world came close to disaster by accident. In 1983, Soviet computers suddenly reported that American nuclear missiles were on the way. An officer named Stanislav Petrov stared at the warning. According to the system, war had already begun. The screen said one thing, his instincts said another. Something didn't feel right, so he waited. Minutes passed, then more minutes. No missiles arrived. The system had made a mistake. Sunlight reflecting off clouds had fooled the computers. One decision, one person, and the world moved on, without ever knowing how close it had come. Which raises an uncomfortable question. Have nuclear weapons kept the peace, or have we simply been lucky? Some people believe the bomb prevented another world war. Others believe humanity has just survived a series of near misses. After all, nuclear weapons have existed for more than 80 years, and during those 80 years, they have never been used in war again. Not once. That sounds reassuring, until you realize they only need to be used once. And that leaves us with one of the strangest paradoxes in human history. For thousands of years, we invented stronger weapons to win wars. Then we invented a weapon so powerful that using it became almost unthinkable. A weapon whose greatest success might be that nobody uses it. Think about that. The nuclear bomb may be the most dangerous machine humanity has ever created. And yet, some historians believe it is also one of the reasons World War III never happened. A weapon built for war that may have helped prevent one. 80 years, no nuclear war, no World War III. Was that the triumph of deterrence? Or have we simply survived 80 years of near misses? Nobody knows. But perhaps the strangest fact of the modern world is this. The most dangerous machine humanity ever created may also be one of the reasons you're alive today.